This podcast is meant for mature audiences only and contains strong sexual language. Thanks for tuning in. This will be the last part, certainly not the least, of our Fellaz panel. Enjoy. Thanks again for the support.
Kinky Lifestyle with lifestyle.
So, talking your way out of pussy. So, somebody asked, can women talk themselves out of getting the dick like a dude talks himself out of getting pussy all the time?
The one that sticks out the most was, like, the way she talked to her dude.
Oh,
like
that's interesting.
Like, it didn't feel like they were in it as a team.
Uh-huh.
And, like, I just like, no, this ain't, I can't. There's no, and there was no rapport, there was nothing in it, but it started with the way that she talked to her dude. Like, I just couldn't rock with it, so I was like, nah.
So wait, how did she, what is it in particular like, she said?
No, it was just in the manner, like,
yeah,
it
like
was
disrespectful?
very flippant, yeah, very flippant and disrespectful.
Oh, like dismissing him.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so, okay, that's a good one. So that's something, so that's actually a really interesting point. So depending on how the page that they're on, if you hear something like that or see something like that, it might not work for you.
Yeah.
You been in that situation before, Mr. Moore? Chick talk herself out of getting you?
There's definitely me. I roll on vibes, man. I hate to be that vibe person, but I am that vibe. And there's been times where just energy's just been wrong. Like, you sexy as hell, but like, and again, if my lady ain't rocking with you, it just makes things. My dick can't get hard, to be quite honest. Because then I feel like the feeling of cheating is happening. If I know if I'm fucking somebody my lady's not rocking with, or your energy's off, it's like, yo, she's just letting me do this, but I really know that she's not really cool with that person or that vibe. So, like, yeah, it's happening where if you're sloppily drunk, if your mouth can and your vibe can mess things up, or mess the energy up. Yeah. But that's happening, but it's rare. I'll say it's rare, but it happens.
See, so my experience, I got a real experience of that happening, and it was at one of y'all hotel, at the More Getaway Hotel parties. And it was like, I was just trying to have a genuine conversation with the young lady. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, I'm trying to eat. And I was like, I didn't even ask if she wanted to play or nothing. I was like, just trying to talk. Mm-hmm. So now I'm interacting with another female there. And she's like, oh, let me see how I feel, girl. She asking the other female this. And I was like, you ain't saying shit. Like, you fucked that up. Oh. So, I was in my bag. Like, okay, now you hearing I'm good or I'm working with something. So you trying to get a feel for it. Yeah. Nah, fuck you. You good right now.
Right.
So I gave her the cold shoulder hard. And it was like, I didn't miss nothing, but I felt like.
So, she was being rude for no reason. Like, just like, no, I've had that happen. I don't appreciate that. I don't think I've ever, like, smashed a chick that was, like, did something rude to me before. And, like, or said something like that was off, like, you just wasn't feeling. Like, that never happened before. But if, I think that when it happened to me, it was when somebody said I looked like Obama. Yeah, somebody said they reminded her of Obama.
Your voice probably, but not you.
No. Like, not at all. Not at all. Like, it's way off. It's like, there are a few celebrities you could have chose, and I wouldn't have looked at this the wrong way.
You sound like Obama.
Obama.
You look like Obama's dad.
For real.
Yeah, but like, as far as directly like talking her way out of it, it mostly got to do with how you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, after that, I was. We talked. It was just I wasn't smashing it.
No, would you do it at a later time if y'all ran into each other?
Somebody can never got an
expiration period. I know, because I ended up doing that.
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't seen them since then. See? I mean, I would say that would be the first thing I'd think about. I'd think about that.
But what if she matured or she had some experiences after that? Yeah. So it's like, well, I think I might break her off. Just, let's see if she don't.
I've never had one go off the list and come back on.
Yeah, no, I never had that. But I never had anybody try either. So I don't know.
One thing I wanted to say, because, and I'm thinking about like the newer listeners, or not listeners, but folks who are interested or just trying to figure out this lifestyle. And like, we're talking very organic and normal, like, but the thing is, these are experiences that have happened over time. I just want to be clear, like, for me, it's been like over 10, 15 years. So I'm thinking like, keep that in mind when you hear us talk, because I know I've been in y'all's shoes where I learned a lot from these podcasts, and I imagine myself at one point being able to have experiences to tell others, and so we're like immune to a lot of stuff that I think like a lot of people that are new to the lifestyle might not just be typically immune to. So experience comes with just being relaxed about this, being able to talk about this, being able to communicate about this. But we didn't, at least for me, I didn't start off feeling like this.
Yeah, like, don't take everything so personal.
Yeah. All right, reactions.
All of that makes sense. I would probably say, I don't know that I've talked myself out of dick in the lifestyle. I've definitely done that in vanilla world. But
wait, what? You've talked yourself out of dick in the vanilla world?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I know I remember one experience where this guy like hit me up, and I won't say I was too aggressive, but I was just like, I don't know, talking too much, I guess, for him. I don't know. And then he just like didn't respond. So, and the other thing is, like, I can be awkward. Like, I don't actually like talking to people. Or not that I don't like talking to people. It's just, small talk is hard and annoying to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes energy.
Yeah, so yeah, it takes energy. And so, especially if I'm not vibing with someone, it makes it more difficult. And you're very extroverted, and you'll talk to anyone about anything. And I'm
Which
just
is
like,
very interesting, because I've been introverted for most of my life, so I don't know where this came from.
I don't know. So that's hard, because we'll be you'll go want to talk to a couple, and you'll be like talking, and I'm just there. And I'm fine just being there, but you're like, and here is my wife. Say something. And I'm like, hey. And even in chats, it's the same way. You'll be chatting away, and I'll read the chats, like but I don't say much in them. Which is also, I get, the feedback often that like, well, I don't know if the Belle likes me. Like, I don't know if she's into me or whatever.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, and so I think that has a lot to do with me just not being as talkative. I can be talkative. Like, I can be very engaging and a wonderful conversationalist.
Yes.
Like, if I care, about the conversation, or if you're interesting enough to me, to have conversation with, but that's not about me not getting talking myself out of dick. I guess I never talk myself into dick. If that makes sense.
Well, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, and and the thing is, I don't think you need to do that a lot. But what I will say is that when a guy is saying, "I don't know if the bell likes me," it never leads to good things.
Well, yeah.
It has not led to good things at all. And what I'm starting to realize is one of the reasons for that is that it's a sign that that guy is just too needy for you.
Yeah.
Not too needy, just too needy for you.
Right.
Like if you need that information, like if what Bell has given you isn't enough information for you, you've lost.
Yeah.
Shoot your shot. Just with the information you have on hand, nigga, just, do what you can.
Because especially if I've made the effort to start conversation with you and like do that more than once, like that should be enough.
Yep.
And if that's not enough for you, okay, then I may not be, the person for you. But if I've gone through that effort, which I've already expressed is effort for me, then you should be clear.
So this leads me to another question, and it brings me back to the auction block question. How do you feel about me communicating with another guy about what it takes, what he has to do in order to get you? So, for example, if I'm telling him like, yo, listen, if she started like a couple of conversations, that's good news for you. Like that's it. Like, and this is something else you can do. How do you feel about that versus letting him figure this shit out on his own?
I feel like he should be able to figure it out. But I feel like if it comes up, like, hey, if he goes to you and he's like, hey, where do you think this is going? Do you think, this is a good fit? Because those conversations do happen.
Yeah, no, that's different.
And then you're like, oh, she's talked to you a few times, you're holding her attention, you made her laugh. I think, you have a chance, you're good or whatever. That's different. If he's just kind of testing the temperature of the connection. If he's coming to you in an insecure place, then no.
Okay, so how I'm interpreting that is that there are two sides of there's like this delicate line.
Yeah.
On one end, there's a question of, okay, so this is who I am. This is who I am. How is she responding to that? Right? How is this going? Where is this going? Right? Versus, what kind of person do I need to be in order to get her there? You don't like that second part I should stay away from, because then a guy is like being ingenuine. Right? He's not being himself. He's just being what he thinks you want, which is almost always going to go in a bad direction. Yeah. So in the vanilla in vanilla, one of the things that came up a couple of times was women who are just being particularly rude. So Mr. Black brought up one example, and the bitch with the bad weave came up. And the thing is that in the vanilla world, like, chicks being rude, women being rude to men is like normative and accepted. Because men are typically just trying to get laid, or they're trying to get something from women. Right. And women can't be nice to all of these niggas. Like, you can't do it. Like, sometimes you just gotta be like, yo, like, back off. Like, no, not now. Like, I'm not trying to do that right now. Yeah. I'm just having my drink by myself. In the lifestyle, that shit doesn't fly. No. It does not fly. It does not translate well. And I think Mr. Black's experience just kind of laid that, because I've never seen Mr. Black just say no to some bitch. And he literally like denied her the dick. And she wanted it, but she was being kind of, I mean, I'm sorry, she was being a bitch before. And I feel like in the lifestyle, when I run into that, it does not work. Like in vanilla circles, I could get it, but even though like I'm almost 40 years old, like if a chick is being rude to me now, I don't tolerate it no matter what the context is. But I think particularly like, you know, younger women are like used to doing that, but that shit just doesn't work in the lifestyle. I
mean, yes. The only caveat that I would give is, because I think this goes both ways. If a dude is talking shit or talking reckless, I'm gonna give it right back to you. Oh yeah, of course. You know, of course. And so, and for some folks that can be a turn on. Like a woman that's, you know, a little aggressive, has a little edge to her, can be a turn on. Is a little, you know, rude to you. But the both individuals have to know what's going on, right? Yeah. They have to be receiving
some consent
that in the same way.
Yeah. All right. Great. No, that was great. All right. So now I think what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some experiences and issues in the lifestyle having to do with race, particularly around fetishizing. And some other stuff. So let's just get into it. How do you feel about terms like BBC? And you know, what do you think of them? And do they ever turn you on? So
nah, they don't really work.
Yeah, nah. I mean, it's a category I'm pouring up to me. But I do know the context of when you ask that question. I think that is definitely more of a larger question and problem within organizations that host events and commercialize the term for profit.
I mean, to me, it's more about like I guess in a weird way I understand it, because they're calling out to like that specific crowd, like, you know what I mean, that's going to get the rise out of it. And it's, I mean, I don't agree with it, but it's just kind of like, no, yeah, like the whole like groups and things like that using it as like the marketing arm of their business, I don't really rock with. But
it doesn't. So I mean, I will say that like privately it's different. Like I don't care what people are doing in their bedrooms, like whatever is, if people are like if both parties are okay with it and they just, you know, doing their own thing, you know, I say do whatever you want as long as nobody's getting hurt.
I would say that when I heard the term BBC for the first time in regards to the lifestyle, my reaction was based off of my wife's reaction. She ain't like that shit because it seemed like they was just putting black men in a specific category and said that, you know, us as men of color, you know, should be looked at as more and value ourselves than more than just being a piece of dick. But, you know, us as men, it's like, okay, it's pussy. So, you know, it's like if you go into a BBC event, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see old white women or young white women, more older than young. But when we was on a cruise, we met a couple, and the wife of that couple, she was foreign, but she convinced my wife, maybe you have to go to the BBC meeting, because that's where all the black men are with big dicks. So you kind of know what you get into a certain extent, but BBC, there's a lot of people that's in BBC that don't deserve it. I'm just saying. So I don't know if that matters. Look, I went everywhere with that, but
you keeping it real, and I'll keep it even real. I wouldn't be showing up to one of those motherfuckers just because I wouldn't want nobody like be disappointed. Hey, it's all relative. It's all relative. I'm sorry. Cats coming in there with big ideas. Like, nah, I'm sorry.
Hey, look at my hand. This is a BBC.
I'm just here to socialize. You'll have a good time, goddammit.
For sure.
And it takes it back to the slave mentality. Like I could just see, you know, for what society wants us to believe slavery is. you know, a bunch of people sitting back and say, send the niggas out, and they butt naked and they measuring to see who dick's the longest, so they could decide if they're strong enough or whoever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it's definitely anything but sexy.
But I think, like,
I will say, if you send that to our profile, you about to get an earful.
Yeah.
She not play that.
I think you fucking up. I think you fucking up when you're dealing with couples with that term, with black couples. I think if I was a black single man, in the lifestyle,
you let it pass. It's like it's like a bad chick that's white calling you a nigger, but you know that you don't keep fucking because you want to fuck, or do you just stop? Like, do you give her the pass?
So I think
no
it's
pass. No pass.
Like, give me that nigger dick or something like that. What do
that doesn't work.
I'm just saying, do you do it or do you not? Like, I'm gonna let this pass because I'm right here.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
search that on Pornhub. That shit they have like a whole category.
Wait, what?
Nigger dick.
What? Nigger dick.
Yeah.
I can search that.
Shit.
I can search that right now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No way.
It's a whole category of brothers in there getting it in while they're being called the N-word.
This might have to turn into a subsidiary of Black and Kinky.
Okay. So
you can go down that road.
All right, we're not. We're not going to do that now. I'll just say.
New type that nigga dick.
Yeah, I'll just say. I don't think I would ever respond to nigga dick. I think that's a little extreme. That's a little extreme. I'm just saying there are times where. If I'm in the playroom and I'm smashing, and I'm making chicks bust nuts like left and right and shit, and somebody says, "Give me that BBC," I'm not gonna.
I'm done.
I would give them this BBC if they saw it, because the thing is they saw it.
Yeah.
We got two sides of the coin.
Exactly. My night probably over.
So it's like, how do you define BBC? And is it a definition coming from?
I think it's totally subjective. Like I think BBC is just something that caught on.
The term,
the term.
I'm specifically talking about the term, using that term.
Oh.
The BBC term.
Oh, I'm talking about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. But he said, like, if I just hear that, night's over.
Yeah.
But some black dudes have that on their profile.
Like I said, I understand
you gotta just catch me at the right moment. You can't assume that I'll like that's the thing.
Yeah. But to Mr. Jackson's point earlier, like I've been around enough to, and my wife is as sexy as my wife is, like she's seen it all. Like, so you having that on your profile, saying that you're a BBC, is going to probably get you the quick delete. You know, it's like,
of course, yeah.
For me, that
doesn't work.
It's the lifestyle make America great again for me.
Thank you, thank you. That's what I see.
Exactly. That's like you wearing that red hat. No matter what version of it, the parody of it that it actually says.
Can't even wear a red hat no more.
I'm out. Like, you know what I mean? So. Because when they say it, they're putting out there for they know who they're putting it out there for. I'm just not that person.
Yeah,
they bypassed your brain and was just like, yo.
No, there's no point at which I see it, and it's it's not a good idea to be putting anywhere. To be honest, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of shit people can say in the bedroom to me at the right moment, and it'll just work.
But I will go to a Baby Got Back party though.
Baby Got.
I guess that's a double standard.
I like that. Cassidy question. Any other like little microaggressions, experiences of racism that?
Man, all I can say about this, and maybe, I mean, not to say we no longer see those things, but I'm just thankful, man. I've been in this long enough to just find my folks, man, like straight up, like, and so some of these things, real talk, I don't even allow myself to be, and my wife and we don't allow ourselves to be in those environments anymore. So I guess what I'm saying is, yes, this is something you should know about, but you should be striving to set yourself up to be in situations, scenarios that at all times you're comfortable, and things that socially don't rock with you in normal life, it shouldn't rock with you normally, in the lifestyle environment. So like once you get to that point where you navigate this and you create those friendships and networks, hopefully you get to the point where this type of fuck shit you're not thinking about it. I think that's where I'm at with this. Like, I know what we're doing, we're helping to educate, we're talking about experiences, but at this point, when me and my wife is butt ass naked, we typically comfortable wherever we are.
Yeah, and that's a key to it, to minimize these microaggressions. Yeah. But to a certain extent, I think everybody comes in contact with them just because you even to get to like finding your tribe, finding your people, you got to go to some bullshit.
Yeah.
No, you gotta go to. You gotta have a few fails at a few parties.
To know what it is. You know what I mean?
You gotta go to a party that you find out you didn't like it. I mean, you just gotta have some strikeouts.
Or you gotta attend an event. You saw one couple that interested you, and you hope they make it there. Or like, you know what I mean? And then once you're in those, like you vibe with somebody, like let's keep in contact so that you go to another one, meet another couple, and it kind of gathers. But in our process, we attended this one house party. It is the worst, probably one of the. I won't say the worst because it's a hilarious night that just kept getting weirder as it went on. Like the first thing, it was the housewarming party for the couple who had just bought the house. So like once we got there and found that out, like it just set up, and then like it got to the point where this dude. Like, he just has a thing with black women's hair. And he's just standing next to Miss Jackson and he's touching her hair. She turns to me in this, it's this slow, I thought I did something type turn. Like, you know what I mean?
Thought it was you.
Yeah, like, and she turns and says, "It's time to go." Like, just before, like, and then I guess his wife noticed, like, "I'm sorry," just like she didn't make it any better. Like, he has things for like black women.
Wow.
You know what that is. Like, it's just.
Well, he never even came and talked to y'all. Nothing. He just.
He was talking to us, but he just reached up and touched her hair.
Well, I guess that leads to another question.
But he wasn't talking to her at the time.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where. But it was just playing. It was the way he did it.
Yeah. Similar thing happened to the bell. I mean, we talked about it on the show before, but the question I have is, as a black man, as your wife's husband, when something like that happens, what do you feel like is your role, like in the lifestyle?
See, me, I let her handle the first wave.
Okay.
Because typically, women have a way of handling things that attracts less attention. It can keep the party rolling, and not mess up everybody else's night. You know what I mean? So initially, like that's her.
I'm with you on that.
You know what I mean?
If you save something, your big ass security's coming out. Yeah, I mean, I think, and again, this is just my experience. My wife, she can hold her own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that, but what's cool, and I don't know, this might just be my experience. I find like the parties that we've been to have been almost self-correcting. So if you're giving off a good vibe and people see that you're giving a good vibe, and all of a sudden the person that was getting a good vibe, somebody has upset her or upset that party or that couple, I think it almost like the music stops. It's like, wait a minute, what's happening? And so those situations where people have been aggressive, I've found with my wife, I found that the crowd has kind of like, or the others in that group. So it's not just me. It could be like if it's a group situation, it's like
people come together to
Yeah,
try
like,
to
come on,
fix
man,
it.
like,
No,
yo,
nobody wants
remember-
the party to
yeah,
end.
it's like, dude,
Yeah.
calm down. That's men and women that's vibing at that point. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, man, like,
And honestly, like going to some of these lifestyle parties, it takes money, it takes resources,
yeah.
so people are invested, and folks are willing to step in. I mean, in the lifestyle, one thing I could say is it's been friendliest environments, friendlier than any other group environments I've been in.
And I think also clubs versus house parties versus like smaller social gatherings. I think those also impact. I think you're more likely to find fuck shit at a club.
Oh yes, definitely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Just because Cass is trying to get it in a couple hours,
I also say it's less vetting.
Yeah,
like the smaller the environment, the more like you've had to gain the trust and
more communication.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And
that helps.
So that's kind of where it can be. I think the more intimate the gathering, the more self-correcting it is.
Yeah.
And I think we're fortunate to be in the area that we're in, because people in other locations where you don't have no other choice or you're limited in your people, you're kind of stuck. Or you're gonna have to travel to have a good time, possibly.
Right. Real talk, ain't nobody talking about it, man. But real talk, the new move for the lifestyle might be smaller, intimate type environments until
Coronas.
Yeah, and once that Rona,
real,
they gotta slow down, and I think there's gonna be some larger.
I think there's gonna
implications.
be less. There's gonna be less and less larger gatherings.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the life, and this ain't got nothing to do with the Rona.
Yeah.
This is just, I think, as people, particularly our people, are able to connect more and more, we're gonna start looking around like, where are we going that we go and to feel like the minority.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
But and what you hit on is true, and I know my wife is raising the flag for this, promoting, black travel. And black sexy travel and whatnot. But yeah, ain't nothing worse in the world than fucking going to Jamaica and you the minority with the cats going. Like, when I got off with the cruises, when I get off, like, I'm kicking it with them on the ship. But when I get on the island, I'm like, alright, I'm gonna holler at y'all. I'm with my folks, I'm out there, but it's weird. It's weird being dropped off in certain areas as far as the cruising experience goes, and it's like, like, how you with them? Like,
exactly.
But I mean,
all the gringos.
Yeah, you feel me?
No, I just meant in general, like, just even like, going to, like, let's say if you do go to a resort and like you might link up and two couples go with you, but then like y'all still in this super overback that y'all still paid the upcharge for. Because it's lifestyle or whatever, like, man, I could have went to a regular little resort, saved $1,000, went with the same people, had the same, we spent all the time in each other's rooms anyway.
That's what we do. That's how we do it, man.
So I think it's
and it makes the best out of the experience if you do it that way.
And I think the more and more we network and build these little pockets, I think that's gonna be. But once again, that goes into if you do some fuck shit, you an asshole. You ain't getting invited.
Yep, you're gonna be on the list.
You gonna think you the only person in the lifestyle still. Like, you know what I mean? As things just change.
Cause some people gotta actually relocate all together because they fuck their lifestyle rep up in the area they in. So it's like,
babes, move halfway across the country. We done fucked up all the people.
All right, reactions. So remember, this started off with the BBC question.
I know, there's a lot. Y'all kind of went in different directions here, but well, I think you know how I feel about the BBC, which I'm glad to hear. All of these wonderful gentlemen feel the same way. That is just that's not what we're doing. And it's interesting that there may be a difference between, a married black man and how he feels about that term and a single male black man, and how he feels about it.
Yeah, there's a lot to tease out there because as a single black man, I think in some ways you're kind of primed for the objectification. Like you're just a tool in a lot of these bedrooms. Like people don't really care about what you like. They don't really care about who you are as a person, just as long as you're not a fucking like creep.
Right.
But they don't really care about you. So in some ways you're more objectified. So BBC, as you know, racist, and some people might hear that term. It's an objectifying term, and as a single male, I can imagine you're more primed for that. So it might be like you might be more likely to let it slide, although this clearly isn't true for all. I think what was clear to me there, and I guess this would be really important for people to know out there that want to approach black couples. The BBC thing, if you're approaching a couple, this is one thing just in general I'm realizing. Like, if you put black women and black men and sort of rated them on the level of sensitivity sensitivity they have to, and the reactions, the extremities of the reactions they have to microaggressions and racism. In my experience, this is just for me, I'm not saying this is a fact. In my experience, black women are a lot more sensitive to microaggressions than black men, who are more likely to let certain things just slide, or they'll be more likely to just kind of write it off and move on. And I think this is certainly true when it comes to using terms like BBC. There are some men who just won't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But their wives will be more likely to give a fuck regardless of how much they give a fuck.
Right.
This is important because if the wife has a negative reaction to this shit, that term just fucked up all of your chances, because now she's like, no, like if I walk in a room and like the hottest blonde is like, oh my gosh, she's looking at my dick and she says, I really want that big black cock. Now here's the thing. In my mind, again, this is the argument I was trying to make. It's a factual statement for her. Right? It's a fact. She's just making an observation. Maybe if I had been white, she would have been like, man, I really want that big white cock. But people don't really use the word white that often, right? So her saying that in that moment, depending on the context, I might just let it slide. I'd be like, oh, big black cock, I'm over here looking down. Like, you talking to me? But no matter how much I'd be willing to let that shit slide, if you heard that shit,
no,
like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not happening. It's not. There's nothing that woman can do. There's nothing her husband can do. It's just not gonna fucking happen. So the thing is, my point is, even if the guy is willing to let it slide, his relationship might not.
Correct.
And that's important, I think, for many people to understand.
Yeah, because I'll shut it down immediately.
No, you've shut it down. Like somebody said Queen of Spades one time, and it wasn't even a girl that said it. It was her man that said it.
Which made it worse.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, fuck, dude. Like,
no.
Because I would have smashed his wife. But
I
now
know.
it's done.
No.
Oh,
it's over.
Gosh.
It's
yeah.
over.
Yeah, and I liked, so what did you think of, like, so the microaggressions that happened to you, and the role of a black man in that kind, or the role of a man in general in that kind of thing? So when the microaggressions happens to you, is there something that you would want me to do? Or want a man to do?
It's a challenge, and I think Mr. Jackson made a good point, is that sometimes we're able to kind of finesse the no in that situation, or get out of that without making a scene or making it an issue, because you talked about this, is that sometimes you don't want to be seen as like the aggressive black husband that's, you know, intimidating people. And I think that can happen if you come to my defense in one of those situations. But that being said, I also want to know that I have that option. Like if somebody is just real reckless or whatever. And typically, you know, I can handle the situation, or sometimes I just be like, wait, what? Like I just, like it catches me off guard sometimes. And I'm like, wait, what happened? Like what? Okay. I wasn't expecting that here at this point in time. And so like I might not have the immediate response, but then I'm just like, yeah, we're leaving, or we're not talking to them, you know, engaging them anymore, or what have you. So I think, and not just in these like microaggression or overtly racist situations, but in general, you know, you're the protector, right? So you're making sure that, you know, everything is okay, and that whatever the situation, you know, whether it be the race or sexually or whatever, that I'm not in a position where I feel uncomfortable or I feel threatened or anything like that. And so just knowing that, yes, I can handle myself, but that like I got backup, you know, I think that's the role that you play.
Yeah. No, and I think that makes sense. And, you know, I think, Mr. Jackson, again, you know, just mentioning that women have a certain way of handling things that don't bring a lot of attention, and this angry black husband thing, it's real, because even if the original interaction wasn't itself racist, right? It could be anything. Me coming to your defense, if it gets to that level, here I am, like I'm 6'1", like 210 pounds. I'm really dark skinned. Like there's nobody who's not going to know I'm black.
Right.
And if like it's at a point where I'm like angry or upset, or I start moving my hands real fast, like it's gonna get everybody's attention.
Yeah.
Everybody's attention. And it's gonna be threatening to a lot of people there, just because, one, because I'm a man, but two, I'm a black man. Like it is a problem. Like I am gonna be seen more likely than not as the threatening force in the scenario, regardless of who started what and who's at fault. Like I'm gonna be like a fucking fire, and like people are gonna call the marshals and be like, "Yo, listen, we just need to put out that fire. We don't care what started it." But yeah, I think there's a racial element that'll always just be there when I have to come to your defense, which is unfortunate, but it's just the reality. I think we as black men have to accept. Yeah. At this point. Anything else? Any other observations there?
I don't think. What was it talking about at the end?
We were talking about like finding our folks, finding our tribe, and all of that. And that the fact that we have to go through a lot of trial and errors. Oh yeah, definitely got to go through trial and errors. And I mean, and once you do find that tribe, or you find, you know, that community of folks, like it's a magical experience. It really is. And, you know, being able to have that on a consistent basis is, you know, what makes the lifestyle worth it. Now, that's not to say there isn't going to be bullshit, because just because we black, and I've said this before, don't mean we fuck with all kind of black people. You know, that's just, you know, the case. And there's, you know, black folk, even though they don't do racist stuff, they do stupid stuff too, that, you know, makes for situations, complicated, difficult situations that need to be handled. So, you know, it's like you still have to navigate even within your own community. And that's not saying your tribe. Like your tribe is your group of trusted folks that, you know, whenever y'all get together, it's going to be a vibe and it's cool. But even in a situation or environment where it's just all black people or all, you know, people of color, there still may be some bullshit. And so just being aware of that. Yeah, I mean, I want to add to that because this goes back to a conversation about like when it comes to you and your mate being, going through that journey. Because a lot of times I'm deciding, I was deciding what parties to go to, and sometimes we hit a brick wall, and then we try again. I think one observation that's important to take from that is like both of us had to be invested in this thing. If I was just dragging you around, you would have been turned off. And this just wouldn't have worked. So I think this just goes back to the guys that are listening to this that are trying to get their partners into it. Like, understand that there's a practical reason to make sure that your woman is fully on board with this shit before you start fucking around in the lifestyle and really start exploring it. Okay, so there's another segment that's coming up called my no homo segment, where we talk about bisexuality, and not just bisexuality because it doesn't really happen much in our circles, but there are questionable moments that may happen, and I really wanted you to listen to this, and I wanted to get your take. Okay, this is a provocative one. I don't even know if I have anything to say to this. But has a bisexual man ever tried to come on to you in the lifestyle?
I've never had the experience.
I was about to say I never had that experience. Now I did have an experience where I was asked to participate in DVP, and I was like, nah, I don't go that route. Like, the most uncomfortable I felt was probably standing next to 3 other guys, and we all getting sucked off by a female. I don't want to talk like that on there.
That's not even close to bisexual.
No, I don't want my dick to touch somebody else's dick. Like, I don't want to feel too uncomfortable. It's already, if you're... You don't know, like, it's one thing if it's a bisexual dude.
So you would feel some kind of way with a DVP, or if a chick want to do a double blowjob or something like that?
I would, bro. Like, I've been a part of double blowjobs, but I ain't trying to put...
He talking about the
two
same...
dicks, one mouth.
That's it. Yeah. The same hole.
Yes.
You
feel some type of way?
I don't want my dick on top of yours or under yours.
I would let it slide as long as we were both in a chick. Like, I'd let it slide.
So you can stand next to Kim, and both of y'all have your dicks in a female mouth touching, and she's like...
I would do that. I wouldn't have a problem.
You wouldn't feel uncomfortable?
I would feel uncomfortable if he had spikes on his dick or some shit. But
his dick...
I know he's not interested in my dick, and I'm not interested in his.
There has to be a tongue separating the dick. The dick got to be on the bottom or the top.
You know what?
I can't do it.
No, I never had that situation. Yeah, I don't know. I think for me at that point, I think I'm comfortable enough that, as far as like a DP, possibly I could do that. The double vag, ethically, I don't know if I could do it. That's just not something I'm sexually into.
Yeah,
gotcha.
But I don't think I think if it was something that was asked of me because it was a fantasy of my wife, I probably would, just if that's what she was into.
But
I would facilitate or allow her to have that experience with somebody.
I'm just trying to imagine it. Like, do you want to be the first dick in or the second? Because we can't go in at the same time. It's like you going into a pussy with a dick, or you gonna go into the pussy by itself with another dick coming to the pussy.
Or if you get to the point where you do that multiple times with let's say you're the dick and you're one of the dicks. Let's say you do it 3 times and you be like, it didn't feel the same when when Johnny did it. Mr. Black does it. It makes me. So then you call him Mr. Black. Hey, what you got going on this week?
real shit.
Oh, that's good. But your reasoning for not wanting to do it doesn't have anything to do with some feeling about your sexuality.
Nah, I'm a man's man. You ain't got no doubt about it, man. But hey,
I ain't cute enough to get hit on by bisexual dudes, man. So I ain't got nothing to say.
No, I mean I've been hit on by gay men, but that's been in the vanilla life.
Wow.
And
I ain't
it's
that cute, man.
It's an easy thing to tolerate.
Yeah, it
As
is.
soon as you let them know, hey, not then they move on.
No, they
don't
more
wanna waste their
respectful
time.
than aggressive women. So it's cool.
dig it.
Would you consider a bisexual man hitting on you if you're playing with his wife and in the midst of playing with her, your dick pop out and she's on top of you and he grabs your dick and put it back into her?
Whoa! I love where this question went. I love where because there are all these ambiguous moments that can happen. So that's one. Okay, let's talk about that shit for a second. So would that be a problem?
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Right?
Nigga, that would be a problem. You better hope your wife is fly as fuck. Because I might be able to get over it real quick. After that episode, there's going to be a conversation. If your wife ain't bombed, this shit's over with at that point.
Okay, let me throw another one. Let me throw another one at you. Okay, so
my God.
you hitting a chick right from the back. Husband comes and licks a clit while you're hitting it. Tongue is like literally
your nutsack,
like an eighth of an inch. Like you're smashing it, and this dude is just licking it. Like he comes from the bottom, like you smashing it. Imagine her on the back, and he's doing like a 69. All right, you will stop. Who would keep going?
It depends on how good the pussy is. Like, if it's a wet, like I'm going through it, but
it might be time to switch holes. It might pop that shit that anal. And I'm not even the anal type of dude, but like to get further away from that tongue, the possibility, that shit might feel good. You don't even know. You don't even know where that wet is. Oh, like, hell no.
All right. Last one. So I'm gonna mention this one because I've been seeing it in regular porn. Like I'm surprised at how often I'm seeing this happen. So guy smashing a chick, busts a nut on her, cuckold comes and licks it off. Where are you? I'm leaving.
I'm not kissing her.
I'm leaving. I can't do it.
Well, so you nutted in the wife, and then somebody comes clean it up. That's what they call it. The dude comes.
Dude comes like a fucking vacuum cleaner.
I would be so confused.
I just don't attend those type of parties.
Yeah, I don't know something about it. It's not like it's not even have nothing to do with bisexuality. It's gross to me.
I feel like that's more of a female
fantasy.
I
To
feel
have
like
a man like a cuckold.
That's
lick it off.
I
saw something like that in real life,
I've seen
though.
that.
But here's the thing, though. It's like, can you look at her? Like, I would be so confused. Like, how could she like a motherfucker like that that's licking my cum off of her? How could she be with somebody like that and me wanting to fuck her? Like, I'll be all confused. Like,
well, at the end of the day, it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I mean, I'm listening to a lot of podcasts. I'm hearing a lot about this cuckold stuff, and I'm starting to understand why that's a thing for not just the woman, but there's a lot of guys who like that.
I mean, some aspects I see, but the cuckold thing doesn't always have to include humiliation. So there's aspects of that lifestyle that I dig. You know what I mean? I mean, for the standpoint that I enjoy seeing my wife pleasure. Now, whether that's with...
I don't know if that's cuckolding, though.
It is if it's like multiple cats.
Okay.
But the whole like humiliation thing...
Yeah, that humiliation.
That's what I thought made cuckold.
Most of the cuckolding is to do with the woman being the dominant role in the relationship and also controlling that person's sexual access or what they have to do, or he's not allowed to pleasure her, or only when it's it ain't just a cookie cutter thing. Like it's
maybe I don't know.
Like it's a lifestyle. It's a full ass lifestyle. Yeah, like that's why I always say the lifestyle is so big. Like some people say, like it's only swinging. I'm like, nah, it's all of this. It's
whole entire lifestyle.
Sex is weird.
But here, maybe this is it then, because I will on my search look for cuckold flicks. Just because maybe I do like
some of them are cool.
No, but
I like seeing women in that power.
I am not my porn searches.
Now that you put it that way,
I am not my porn searches.
I love hood porn.
Like I love hood porn that
I'm sophisticated, but I still look at hood porn.
Yeah, like.
Hey, my wife asked to see my search, and I grabbed my
phone. No, you can't. My porn searches.
She was like, "Can I see what you saw?" I was like, "Oh, hell no!"
Because you don't know what I was thinking about that day.
That's true. You're right. That's so true.
So like, yeah, I'm not. My porn search is like my YouTube searches. We are not the same people.
All right, thanks for
glad you said that, man.
Okay, so
no
homo. Reactions.
I mean, I think it's funny that she's framed it in the context of a bisexual man doing these things, but like if it was a straight man that grabbed your dick, you wouldn't be with it either.
No, not at all.
So I think it's just, but the thing is, like, shit happens at parties. Like, you may accidentally touch another nigga's dick, like, or just touch him in general, because there's just bodies everywhere. Everyone's naked, it's sweaty. Stuff just happens, but you don't feel some type of way about it in those situations.
No, and I'm not gonna mention specifics, but me and Mr. Black have had some awkward moments, like accidental moments. But no, those I don't really think are a big deal. I mean, we just kind of laugh those off. But I think in the lifestyle, there are these ambiguous moments, like that are outside of like bisexuality or even like non-heterosexuality. So, thinking about, like, for example, if we're in an MFM situation, right? Mm-hmm. And like you're giving me a blowjob, or like you're giving some other guy a blowjob while, one of us are at the other end of you hitting it doggy style, and one of us busts a huge nut, and it not only hits you, but it hits me. Now, that is a no homo moment. Yeah. Like, it's literally like, oh shit, that is not in my library of sexual shit that's supposed to happen to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, how do you feel about those situations? Because they can happen, right? I think, in that case, it's accidental, but it's still some other nigga's cum was on you, son. Like, you're going to have to, like, psychologically deal with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the other examples I brought up, like, it's like, so first of all, how would you feel about those moments happening to, like, me? Would that be like, first of all, let's say somebody was hitting you from the back, and I went and started licking your clit while they were doing it. Like, would you even have a second thought about that?
I probably would. I would find that interesting, just for several reasons. But, but I wouldn't, like, look at you weird. Like, I would be like, just like, all of that's not necessary right now.
Right. Well, I mean, you're assuming it's not necessary, but let's say I started doing that shit and it was like, how many times have you been penetrated and had your clit licked at the same time?
Not many. I'm pretty sure it's happened before, but not many. Yeah.
But let's say it happened right. Let's say it happened to the point where it was like the most intense feeling you've ever had. Mm-hmm. Would you feel different about it then? Like, stop, babe. This feels incredible, but his dick is gonna slide in your mouth by accident. I just can't.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. I would not have the presence of mind to think that through.
You wouldn't care.
No.
Okay. I'm trying to think of another scenario because none of this has happened. But yeah, I guess the double vag, and I don't really care about the DVP stuff. Like I don't care about the double blowjob stuff. Like some people have a hard feeling about that, but I'm like, I guess the thing for me is if our dicks make contact. Number one, if our dicks make contact in the context of like us going in another chick's mouth, like I don't care. I wouldn't second guess it, because our dicks making contact isn't even a sexual thing. Like,
right? It's just
gay and bisexual men don't sword fight for sexual pleasure. Like I don't. It's not like,
or maybe they do. You don't know.
I don't think. Come on. I never. Listen. If you are gay or bisexual and you get pleasure from rubbing your dick up against another man's dick, like let me know. Then I'll feel some. Then maybe I'll feel some kind of way about this because I'm like, okay, we're practicing something that's not for us,
right?
But I don't think it's a thing. Okay, so what about if you are on top of a guy, reverse cowgirl? Okay, and I come over and start rubbing your clit while you're in reverse cowgirl.
So you could like touch his balls.
I could accidentally touch more than his balls.
You would, yeah. I wouldn't feel some type of way about it.
Yeah, I see that happen in porn all the time.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do that shit anyway. I wouldn't.
Now, if you like the thing, if like I was in reverse cowgirl and like his dick came out, slipped out, and you grabbed it and put it back in me, that would be weird.
Yeah. It certainly would be weird, and like I can tell you right now, there's no way I'm doing that shit. But I'm really thinking it over right now and trying to imagine myself in that situation because, let's say I was filming it, right?
Well, see, and I'm not saying it'd be weird because you be touching another dude's dick. I'm just like there were other options.
Right.
Like I could have put the dick back in. He could have put the dick back in.
Well, look, like, I agree with you. There could be other options there. But the reason why I say, let's say I was filming it, like, let's say I was filming a scene and I needed this shit to go perfect. So both his hands are on your waist and both your hands are occupied because you're holding yourself up, perhaps on his chest, or maybe you have your hands on the bed. Clearly, I've given this a lot of thought. And then his dick, like I'm filming it. I'm like, go. I'm like, this is great. Keep going. I'm directing it. I'm like, okay, we need more lights here. Come on, spray some, grease on her titties. Make sure they're shining. All right, keep going. Oh shit, the dick slipped out. All right, hold on. Don't move. And then I just slip it back in. All right, keep going. Like, if I was filming, because I have a fantasy of being a film director, maybe even a porn film director, I could imagine doing some shit like that. I could just imagine myself like, oh shit, fuck, don't move. And
put the dick back in.
That is the only scenario where I can imagine doing something like that. But if we were in a play session, there's your dick is your problem. Fuck that. But I will say that I appreciated what Mr. Amore said, and I appreciated like the fellas in the group. It didn't sound like none of this was quite a threat to their own sexuality, and that showed a good level of maturity that I wasn't surprised to see there. But I know a lot of guys just aren't there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going back to, like, you can have preferences. Like, that's okay. Like, I don't want to eat pussy. I don't. But I'll still, make out with girls. Like, it's okay if you don't want a bisexual man, in your play experience. Because that's not, like we would never have a play experience with a single female. because I
it's
just don't know. It's
yeah.
not something that's going to work for us. And that's fine. So just like we would screen them and like we would screen out short men, you know, we would screen out bisexual males because that's just not a part of our play experience that we're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there are all kinds of, I mean, honestly, I don't like my ass played with.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Or your balls.
Or my balls, that's right. So, but yeah, Belle, I appreciate you listening to all of this and, you know, commenting on it. I hope it was enjoyable and informative for you.
There was.
Do you want to say anything to the male panel?
I appreciate them participating in the panel. I think this will be a very interesting episode for our listeners.
Yeah, an interesting few episodes. This shit is, oh my God, it's going to be a long one. It's a multi-part series, fellas and ladies. All right, so we're going to finish this off by just playing our goodbyes with the panel. Again, we really appreciate them. If you have a question for them, just comment, you know, send us an email, holla at us. And again, everybody, we really hope you stay safe out there. These are really unpredictable times.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. You know, I'm thinking about that song on the cruise. They kept playing to get everybody to wash their hands on the Bliss cruise. But yeah, make sure you apparently get toilet paper because that shit's hard to get now. And you know, if you're sick, like really stay indoors. This is something.
Stay home. Like it's not that hard. Like just stay your ass at home.
Yeah. Yeah, stay home because, you know, you might get over it. You might not necessarily feel as sick, but, you know, you might walk past somebody has a pre-existing condition, and that person can be a child. Like, I'm hearing children are dying from this thing because they have pre-existing conditions and they're getting sick. So if you're sick, consider yourself a fucking ticking time bomb, and you just need to stay at home and wait for that shit to go off. So that you don't put anyone else at risk. If there is an option to get tested, unfortunately, this country, as powerful as it is, has not been very successful in getting as many testing kits out there. Hopefully, by the time this episode is out there, that'll change. But if you can get tested, please get tested. And yeah, we hope everybody feels safe. Look, we can get through this.
Yeah.
We will get through this. This will be painful. But, you know, this country has been through worse. Black people, we have been through worse. And so, yeah, we got you all in our prayers. We love y'all. Stay blessed. Stay safe. Peace out.
Bye.
All right, no, I wanted to say I really appreciate you guys coming by here and recording this. I mean, this was a lot of good stuff. Like, I think our listeners would really appreciate it. And so,
just want to say something to you though, straight up. I don't mean to cut you off, but I did. We're gonna end it, but I also want to thank you,
okay,
Mr. Bomber and the Bell, because straight up, you guys, I think, are really leading this movement of this, and this what y'all doing will impact, I think, just how black folks in general are learning about sex, sexuality. These things, these shows will be archived. I'm telling you, man,
for generations to come.
For real, like this
great grandkids.
Damn,
listen to something that you was saying. My granddaddy was a freak. You got all the pussy.
Nah, yeah.
No, but I appreciate that, man. Really,
making us look like people, humans, and we got emotions. We black, we out here, we having sex, we having a good time. But we peoples, you know. And I think what you guys are really showing that side of black culture, man. It's huge what y'all doing,
Amazing.
so we appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. And honestly, I get a lot of the experiences we had from y'all. So if we've never met y'all, like this show wouldn't be a thing, you know. It was one of our first experiences at an Amora Hotel hotel social we went to. That was our first full swap.
Wow.
And that was great. And we just wanted to try more shit after that. So sometimes it's all about that right party, that right moment, those right groups of people that really get you into this. But we hope everybody found this really helpful. And if you have any questions, how can folks reach y'all? Anybody comfortable giving out any information?
Black and Kinky app.
I dig it. Yo, all of these gentlemen you can find on the More Getaways website. Become members. I'm not telling you who they are. You just got to chop it up with the cats on there. And that's where I know you can find us, for sure.
All right.
Y'all got to give the discount code.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to do that. Oh, man. Y'all really listen to this show. I appreciate it. Yo. So if you want to get a chance to get a free 3-month membership, leave a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast, and you'll be entered into the chance to win that. But that's going to take a while, and if and you want to get on that website right now, just go on there, enter in offer code Black and Kinky, and you will get 25% off of your membership fee. So all of these gentlemen are on that website, and so are their wives, and all of them are very sexy. And these 3 men are the men that, the Belle isn't here, but she'd say that you guys are great. In and out of the playroom. All right, so again, if you have a question for us, hit us at blackandkinkylifestyle@gmail.com. And like we always say, peace out. Thanks for listening.
Black and Kinky Lifestyle.